reason why I'm suing the Breakfast Club. But I also sent the demand letter to pause the Chris Brown lawyer and everyone that was in that whole circle and scene. The thing is, we on the radio. So if you say I got dirty sneakers playing tonight and they can't see it, then they're going to think I got on.
He's the kind of guy that would say, hey baby, let's get away, let's go someplace, huh, where I don't care.
Hey, what's up, you guys? This is WD3, and this is your Hill Report News Break. Well, happy Saturday to a lot of you all. You made it through the week. You did such a great job at whatever you were doing, and now you're ready to celebrate and enjoy the fruits of your labor. But one of the things that I was looking at was I was tipped off by Dame Dash that the Breakfast Club did an interview with an absolute brainwashed clown named Ben Shapiro. One thing that I caution is anytime dummies interview the devil. Now, a dummy is always going to be trying to prove a point, trying to be seen, trying to be embraced, trying to that's what dummies do, and they think they're smart, such as the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God, and DJ Envy. They think they're smart. But you come up against the devil without checking the devil's premises. If this guy Ben Shapiro claims to be a Jewish man with the yarmulke on, well, a really intelligent man who knows who he is, who knows the scriptures, who knows history and culture, would know that the real people of the Bible are the people who were brought over here on slave ships, as documented in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68 to be exact. I would ask Ben Shapiro to explain Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9. I would ask Ben Shapiro to double up and explain Revelation chapter 3 and verse 9. I would ask Ben Shapiro to explain Ezekiel chapter 35 and 36. I would ask Ben Shapiro to explain the book of Obadiah. Only has one chapter. I would ask Ben Shapiro to explain the book of Malachi. Jacob have I loved. Dummies should not interview the devil. The devil is mad. He knows he has a short time. And if you don't know the wiles of the devil, he's going to eat you alive. Watch these clips as Charlemagne the dummy and DJ out of his mind, potential, possible, alleged MC scammer. Watch these dummies play with fire. And we'll be right back. WD3 Hill Report News Break.
The problem with DEI is that it is, in fact, a zero-sum game. Only one person is going to get that job. And so the question is the person who gets that job the best qualified for that job, or is that a person who is going to underperform in the job compared to what otherwise would have been? And if you want to maximize the pie for everybody, what you want is a meritocracy where the best people at any job get ahead. Now, if you're talking about reparations for immediate past wrongs, I think it's a much easier conversation. What can we do to rectify the problems of Jim Crow and make it right for the people who suffered under Jim Crow? I think that's a really live and interesting conversation on a sort of public policy level. Reparative policies don't tend to be nearly as effective as people want them to be, historically speaking.
They work for Jewish people.
You mean Holocaust reparations, for example? That is not the reason why Israel has become successful economically, like just on a success level. The reality is that cutting people checks rarely makes them more successful from the government. What usually makes people more successful is a determined attempt to become the things that the meritocracy demands.
You don't think what's happening in Gaza is a genocide?
Correct.
Okay, but the world's leading association of genocide scholars have declared that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza based off the pure definition of...
Well, it's not actually, if you read their actual study, it's not based on the quote-unquote pure definition of genocide. They don't actually even define genocide in the document. And they basically went out to their membership but they didn't go out to the entire membership. They went out to a generic membership. It is very easy to join the International Association of Genocide Scholars. In fact, there were several people yesterday who just signed up and were immediately admitted, even though they have no actual background in genocide. The question is not whether some sort of coterie of people who call themselves experts in an issue are quote unquote experts on the issue. The question is whether the definition is met. The definition of genocide is not met in Gaza by any stretch of the imagination. And you can cite to me, a group that I hadn't heard of until 2 seconds ago, and nobody had heard of until 2 seconds ago, that voted in a particular way. That doesn't make a difference definitionally.
So what is a genocide do?
A genocide is the attempt to forcibly destroy an entire population, which is not what has happened.
So it's not the attacks on like the personal facilities needed for like survival, like healthcare and educational institutions.
Well, again, Israel has shipped in more humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip than literally any army to in a population that supports the enemy in literally all of human history. They've been shipping in about 4,400 calories per day per person into the Gaza Strip in the middle of a war in which the enemy is holding actual Israeli hostages underground who, as we've seen from some of the pictures, are actually starving. Again, none of this is to claim that the war is pretty or meticulous or anodyne, because it isn't. It's really, really, really ugly. But over the course of this war, about 3% of the Gazan population has been killed or wounded. If you're going to look at an actual genocide, obviously the prototypical case being the Holocaust, you're looking at 50% of the entire Jewish population in Europe destroyed. If you're looking at other attempted genocides, say the genocides in Rwanda, you're talking about extraordinarily high percentages of the population that are wiped out. You certainly are not seeing the procedures that require 4 layers of actual legal authority in order to do a drone strike. And I've actually seen the tape of them doing this in Israel. They actually, if they spot from the air a terrorist who's going into a particular civilian area, you have to take like a full minute where the pilot on the drone calls up the legal authority, who then calls up the higher legal authority to get clearance for the actual drone strike, and they will call off the drone strike if they believe that the military target is too costly in terms of civilian casualties. I mean, Hamas knows this, which is why they're hiding among civilians. In fact, the best proof that this is not, in fact, a purposeful genocide is the fact that Hamas is hiding behind civilians. The reason you hide behind civilians is because you know your enemy doesn't want to kill civilians. Right? If you believe that your enemy doesn't care about killing civilians, you wouldn't hide among civilians. That wouldn't be a defense mechanism.
Do you think Israel needs a regime change?
Israel's a democracy. They've had, I think, 5 elections in the last 4 years. There probably will be election again.
So anyway, welcome back, guys. As you see, Ben Shapiro on the Breakfast Club, just eating a little breakfast with a couple of dummies who don't know any history, who just go with the talking points given to them by the Democrat Party. Sometimes they want to seem smart and rebellious, and the devil pops them back down. They are very disrespectful to a black man who comes on with new ideas. But then when Ben Shapiro comes on, who is telling you that, hey, your mom, your aunt who has that job shouldn't be there. She's too dumb. Who's telling you, hey, those people over there on that land we stole, well, we're going to kill them and you ain't going to say anything about it. Or, hey, I need you to act like you didn't see what you saw. And I need you to believe what I tell you regardless of the facts. That's how the devil eats dummies alive. And dummies eat it all up. But when God's people come on this very same platform, they get undressed from top to bottom. You can have very new tennis shoes on and they'll say, hey, look at your raggedy shoes. The Breakfast Club, man. You guys better start turning up the entertainment and turning down the stupidity, because you're going to have to answer to the Cesar Pena files. Stop interviewing the devil and getting eaten alive. If you're going to interview the devil, at least bring on a smart Israelite man who actually knows the scriptures, knows the truth, and can fight the spiritual battle. Otherwise, you're just spreading propaganda backdoor and showing how much you hate yourself and your own people. Not only are you willing to support a man who will scam people, your friends, out of millions of dollars, but you want to give a platform to a man who supports innocent women and children being they're being unalive, whether you call it whatever you call it. They're defenseless. They don't have the weapons. They don't have the army. There's some invisible army called Hamas that they're dying for. It makes no sense. Breakfast Club, be ashamed. WD3, Hill Report News Break. I'm out.